Yo, what is going on, guys? J.Yumeko here. Oh, God. Still have a cough. Okay. So, we're back with some more If My Heart Had Wings. So, if you guys didn't read the description of the last video of this series, basically, I was made aware that later on in this series, the translations get very bad. And apparently, this moe novel translation is actually known to be very, very butchered. So I went ahead, did some digging, looked around, discovered that there was actually a lot of 18 plus content that was chopped out of this game, and along with that, like I said, the translations were super bad. So there actually have been some teams that came together and excuse me, and that created a basically a translation patch. It's called retranslation. So it's a patch that's supposed to help with the translations, and supposedly it also brings back some of the 18 plus scenes. I'm not sure if, but from what I was reading, I'm not exactly sure if that pertains to this game or if that pertains to the Flight Diary game. Because I was going really deep into this rabbit hole, and you got the main game here, then you have Flight Diary, which has a bunch of separate paths. It's got a prologue and a fucking prelog, and you have all this stuff that's been cut out and censored in some versions, but other versions you're able to get it back, and it's just a whole lot of stuff. There's a whole lot of community lore about this game, and just the series in general. So for now, though, I've got the translation patch, so we're gonna see if that helps. And if we don't, and again, I'm not even sure if this game originally has 18 plus scenes. From what I've read, it does, but we'll see. All right, we'll just enjoy the game either way. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right on back into it. So because of having to reload the game, I basically had all of my progress wiped, so I just had to skip through everything. But we're back. Okay, so we're picking up basically Ageha's here, childhood best friend, and we're seemingly gonna actually get Kotori to go to school, which I think is gonna reveal a little bit more about what's going on in her membrane here. Okay. Gosh, I'm probably gonna be coughing so much. When she was about to leave, she stopped the wheelchair and looked back. You two, do you know each other? Uh-huh. Yeah, we're childhood best friends. What a pair of idiots. Looks like her attitude's even worse this morning. Give me one moment. Let me... Message speed. There we go. Crank that shit up. Let's just put it to 100, honestly. However, she did say she was going to go to school. Finally. After cleaning up after breakfast, I left the dormitory with Ageha. On our way to school, we somehow started talking about Habane-san. Is there a reason why Habane-san stopped coming to school? Yeah, I guess. Habane-san has a walking disability, right? And when we joined the same class in the second year, she seemed kind of cut off because of it. I've been trying to speak to her sometimes. Such consideration was so like Ageha. If there were any people who didn't fit into the group, she wouldn't just ignore them. I think this also could have been the reason why we started playing with Mabo in the past. But Habane-san has this kind of attitude. To put it bluntly, it seems like she doesn't really fit in. Yeah, I can kind of imagine that. Other girls from the class saw Habane-san treating me like that and got angry, and they started telling her off. And it became a huge fight. Girls from our class versus Habane-san. When Ageha remembered that, she warily slouched forward. Ageha is cheerful and has many friends. It seems that they saw Habane-san as the bad guy because she rejected Ageha's consideration. She stopped coming to school since then? That's right. Habane-san was amazing back then. She was facing all the girls in the class and didn't back down at all. Ageha was talking passionately and waving her arms around like in a kung fu movie. What kind of heroic story was that? I decided not to ask about specific details. Still, this is unexpected. Even though saying something in a slightly mean way was enough to make her all teary-eyed. Why did Habane-san come to our school?
You know, she doesn't enjoy the lessons and doesn't try to make any friends.
The only reason I could think of was that it was barrier-free. Well, that's a rather solid reason, actually.
I have to do some...
Oh, shit.
I have to do something about this.
Ageha folded her arms behind her head as she thought things over. When I looked at her from the side, I remembered the withdrawal notice that I picked up last night. On the spur of the moment, I didn't give it back to her in feigned ignorance, but... Is she really planning to quit school? It seems like I'd picked up an unexpectedly important lost property. And while we were walking like that, with troubled expressions... Murmur. A strange, quiet murmur erupted around us. Almost all the other students that were on their way to school, like us, were looking in the same direction. Over there. A tall, slender, beautiful girl was walking along. Ah, it's her. It was the girl I met in the garage. Everyone was looking at her with curiosity, but it seemed like she wasn't paying any attention to those glances. I was looking at her just like everyone else, but Ageha apparently got the wrong idea.
Ho-ho! As I thought, you have a good eye. This girl's really famous in our school, known as the super repeat student Mochizuki Yamane-senpai.
Super repeat student?
Yeah, she's repeated the same year several times.
Is she that stupid? She doesn't look it, though.
I'd rather say she's a genius. It's way beyond having the top grades or something. Teachers don't have anything more to teach her, or rather, they occasionally consult stuff with her.
She's smarter than our teachers? And our school is so highly specialized.
Despite that, she doesn't graduate and stays in school for some reason. She systematically fails to earn the credit and intentionally repeats the year. Actually, she repeated the year more times than the student rules allow, hence the super repeat student. It's quite unusual, seeing her on her way to school in the morning like this.
I didn't know if she was a genius or not, but she definitely seemed like a pretty weird person. So she's just a full-ass adult walking around. Suddenly, the super repeat student, Mochizuki Amane-senpai, stopped walking and looked up at the sky. Everyone else followed her gaze and looked up as well. A jet plane was flying through the deep blue sky, drawing a white contrail behind it.
Oh.
The other students quickly realized it was just a plane, so they quickly lost interest and resumed walking. However, Mochizuki Amane-san kept standing there and looking up at the plane flying high in the sky. She wasn't paying any attention to people coming from behind, who had to avoid her since she was in their way.
Let's go.
Yeah. Alright, so just as a quick little insert here, I have noticed that the translations seem, I mean, obviously they're different. You know, like, even just from the other, 2 episodes that we've done, definitely different. You know, this patch is definitely changing things. It seems like it kind of takes it and translates it a bit more literally, I guess. Just because some of the sentences seem a little bit like, you know, the use of words, of certain words seems a little bit, literal. Not that it's bad, but I guess, I mean, I have nothing to compare it with. So if any of you guys have played this game before, watched people play it, and know how bad the translations get, please let me know if this is like an actual step up. Habane-san arrived at the last moment before our homeroom finished. Habane-san's gonna be Kotori. Yeah, but it still labels her as Kotori. Weird.
Sorry I'm late.
Habane, are you feeling better already?
Yes, I'm fine, thank you.
I see. I was worried about you. Habane-san went past the homeroom teacher, who was surprised by her sudden appearance. While still in her wheelchair, she took a seat at her desk. The desk at the front was the only one that didn't have a chair. Everyone looked at her curiously.
I'm not an animal in a zoo.
In school, she was keeping her cool beauty pose. She was focusing during lessons and was answering teachers' questions smoothly when asked. It seems like her grades in regular subjects are on top of the class. During breaks, she was sitting at her desk reading a book or going off somewhere. She didn't even try to talk to anyone. Even when Ageha tried to speak to her, she acted like she hadn't noticed. The other girls in the class looked like they didn't really know how to deal with her and just watched her from a distance. She looked very bored as she observed the gym class. It left quite an impression on me. She was alone all the time. It didn't look like she was enjoying herself very much. Hey, Habani-san! Oh, fuck. At lunch break, I found Habani-san about to leave the classroom with her bag, so I chased her to the hallway. It's lunchtime, you know? How about... Whoosh! Suddenly, Habani-san dashed away at an unbelievable speed. Hey! I tried to chase her right away, but I bumped into a student who was passing by, and my start was delayed. In the meantime, Habani had already gotten into the elevator. According to the school rules, most students are not allowed to use it. It's only for teachers carrying heavy loads or disabled students like Habani-san. I chased after her anyway, only for the doors to close mercilessly in front of me.
Bleh.
Behind the glass door, the self-proclaimed cool beauty stuck her tongue out as I saw her off and headed to the floor below. As if I'd let you get away. I came running to the school gates. She was holding her bag. It seemed like she was trying to leave early, so I wanted to cut her off. However, I couldn't deny the possibility that she simply had her lunch in the bag. Maybe I got the wrong idea. If that's the case, there would be no problem. As I watched over the school gates with an imposing stance, thud! Something crashed into me from behind. In other words, from outside the school gates. Ugh! Wah! Ouch! What was that? I felt like I was crawling out from under an avalanche when I was getting up. Then I saw a big cardboard box and a girl that had fallen over. Are you alright?
Oh, I'm okay. I'm sorry, I couldn't see in front of me because of this box.
Ah. When I got up and looked at her, I almost blurted out, "The super repeat student!" But I bit my tongue in time.
And you? Aren't you hurt?
No, I'm fine.
I see, that's good.
As she said this, the super repeating super senpai grabbed the big cardboard box.
Hup. My stomach.
Mochizuki Amane senpai tried to lift it up, but then lost her strength and slumped down.
A temporary performance drop due to hunger is remarkable.
I'll help you carry it.
Whoa, so heavy.
The cardboard box was incredibly heavy.
It's fine, I can carry it by myself.
Come on, it's no big deal, I said and carried it myself.
Thanks.
Here's fine. I put the heavy cardboard box with unknown contents on the floor.
Sorry about that. Thanks for helping.
Don't mention it. Anyway, senpai, if you're hungry... She was staring blankly inside of the garage. Amani senpai? Interested, I looked in the same direction. And there... was Habane senpai. Or San.
San.
What is she doing here? I was beside the big object placed in the center of the garage. Oh, she was beside the big object placed in the center of the garage and was trying to lift up the sheet and look underneath.
Are you interested in that?
Habani-san was surprised when Amane senpai spoke to her. Nod. She nodded shyly. Amane senpai vigorously pulled back the sheet. Inside was a white, streamlined fuselage. Habane-san looked at it in blank amazement. I also let out a small, surprised, "Ooh."
Could it be a glider?
Yes, it is. Amane-senpai nodded and Habane-san timidly brought her face closer to the airframe. Even in the dimly lit garage, the glider's white body had a glossy shine to it and faintly reflected her face. I also moved towards it to take a closer look. Is this the glider we saw from the Windmill Hill?
Yeah, probably.
The smooth surface looked like it was made from plastic. However, it was hard to touch. The wings had been removed, so for now there was just the body.
So this is what the cockpit's like.
This is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah?
We hadn't noticed who we were both talking to. Until now, who we were both talking to. Hey, why were you running away just now? She disregarded my question and hastily tried to escape, but I went ahead and blocked her path. I won't let you get away.
Ugh.
Why did you come here? For lunch? I don't think so.
There was some mean guy guarding the school gate, so I decided to come hide in here.
So she did want to leave school early after all.
Do you know her?
Amane-senpai was listening to our exchange in puzzlement. Slurp, slurp, munch, munch.
Delicious.
Amane-senpai was wolfing down a Neapolitan pasta lunchbox. Both Habane-san and I were slightly taken aback as we watched her. Why, you ask?
For some reason, seeing such a beautiful girl doing something like this is such a letdown.
Yeah. However, she didn't know that when she was inhaling ice cream like an idiot herself, I was watching her with exactly the same feelings. By the way, Amane-senpai was eating the lunch that I'd brought. As usual, the boarders hadn't eaten all the food I made during breakfast, so I packed the leftovers as my lunch. I'd made 2 lunchboxes. One was for me. The other one I brought just in case Abane-san gets hungry at lunchtime. That's why I was chasing her a moment ago. If she didn't want it, I guess I would eat them both myself. However, she ran away before I could even ask.
But is this alright? Eating your whole lunch?
Amane-senpai asked, although she'd already eaten most of it. I've already eaten mine. I was hungry during morning recess, so I had lunch early. Amane-senpai was relieved when she heard my answer and savored the cooled-down Neapolitan pasta.
Ah, this is delicious. It's been a while since I had a proper meal like this.
Did you not eat anything after I saw you yesterday? I only gave her 1 piece of bread. Amane-senpai stopped moving her chopsticks and looked at my face blankly.
Could it be that you're the person who gave me that bread yesterday? You only just realized that now? Well, I was really focused on something yesterday, you know?
She's a weirdo after all.
I see. So this is the second time you saved me.
She looked at me with eyes that sparkled like a little kid's. If she were a dog, her tail would definitely be wagging like crazy.
I received that bread from you approximately 20 hours ago. Prior to that, the last meal I had was roughly 70 hours earlier.
I counted on my fingers. If there are 24 hours in a day...
That's 3 days ago! I went to Taioken and ate tonkatsu ramen with all the toppings. The soup was rich and delicious.
When she recalled this, she made a face that looked like she was about to start drooling.
Why don't you eat? Are you on a diet? I forgot. Huh? When I'm thinking about something, I forget about anything else. That's because I'm an idiot.
Amane-san replied with pride for some reason. I'd rather she didn't forget about hunger at the very least.
Are you building this glider?
Yeah. This place, what is it?
The Soaring Club's club room and garage?
Soaring Club? I wasn't familiar with that name. What's soaring?
Flying a glider on an ascended air currents. Flying a glider on ascending air currents is called soaring.
Flying a glider on an ascending air currents? I wasn't sure I fully grasped that. Yeah, me neither. So the aim of this club is to build and fly a glider?
Yeah, that's right.
So this garage was used for club activities after all. Even so, it was pretty spacious.
A glider's like an airplane, isn't it? Is it something you can make by yourself? Yeah, building it is fuck, I can't speak. Yeah, building it is possible. It's a man-made object in the end, so there's no reason why a person couldn't build it, right?
I don't think she was asking about that. However, Amane-senpai answered in a serious tone.
How do you make it? Well, let's see. To explain it, it would be the fastest if you actually made one yourself.
Wait a sec, she said, and she slurped up the remaining Neapolitan pasta with extremely bad manners. After she wiped her mouth with a tissue, she started rummaging through a desk drawer.
Let's see, where was this thing?
When I peeked inside the drawer, I got the impression that Amane-senpai is a typical disorganized person. The things inside weren't stored neatly and just crammed in there.
Oh, there! Here it is!
The thing that Amane-senpai had taken out was a paper airplane construction kit made from cardboard.
Now, try making one.
I exchanged glances with Habane-san reflexively. I thought that manufacturing a glider and making a paper airplane were 2 completely different things. But for now, I tried doing as she said. It took us about 10 minutes to finish the paper plane using glue and a craft knife.
finished!
Well done. Amane-san senpai took the plane that Habani had made and examined it. Then she threw it. The paper airplane flew lightly and landed near the wall on the other side of the garage.
It flew straight forward very nicely. It's a good plane.
Complimented, Habani-san got embarrassed.
There are many types of airplanes. There are jumbo jets, small Cessnas, fighter planes. Then there are paper airplanes like the one I just threw. But all of them fly based on the same principle.
Both paper airplanes and jumbo jets?
Yes, the principles are the same. They're using their wings to generate lift in order to fly.
Habane-san and I simultaneously tilted our heads. We both had rather skeptical expressions. I can understand that a light paper airplane could fly by riding the wind, but it was hard to imagine a giant hunk of metal flying in the sky on the same principle. There must be some other method that allows it to fly. Amane-senpai went to pick up the paper airplane that she'd just thrown.
I'd like you to take a good look. What are the differences between the paper airplane and the planes you know?
The size and material?
Also, whether or not people can get in it. That's right. Then there's whether or not it has an engine. Conversely, besides those things are the same. There we have the principles of flight. Regular airplanes are made from mostly the same parts as this. First, there's the body. Next are the main wings. The horizontal stabilizer. The vertical stabilizer. There are a few airplanes that have somewhat extraordinary shapes, but even those still have mostly the same parts or other elements that fulfill a similar role.
When she put it like that, I guess she was right. I've never really paid that much attention to it though.
And by the way, do you know how airplanes fly in the air? Because there's lift. That's right. Lift is an important force working on a wing. This is perpendicular to the direction of the oncoming airflow.
When I tilted my head again, Amane-senpai giggled and rephrased it.
In short, it's the force that makes the wings rise up in the air. Lift is created here, on the main wings. When air hits the wing from the front, it gets divided and flows over and under the wing.
I got the image of a wind cutting air like a sword. A wing, sorry.
At that time, there's a difference in speeds of the air flows above and below the wing, which causes the pressure to drop on the side where the air flows faster. That's Bernoulli's principle!
Amane-senpai nodded. I felt a little self-conscious when she came up with that Bernoulli without hesitation.
What the heck? We were taught that in class, right?
We didn't learn that at my school.
Probably. That's why the airplane's wings are designed so that the air flows faster on the upper side. This is in order to lower the pressure there. By doing this, the pressure on the lower side is higher in comparison. The air then lifts the wings up.
The air lifts the wings up. And that phenomenon was hard to imagine right away. So that's Bernoulli's principle? Amane-senpai nodded.
There's one more thing. The air flowing over the top of the wing blows downwards behind it because of its curved surface.
During the explanation, Amane-senpai drew a diagram of the cross-section of a wing. According to it, an airplane's wings were flat at the bottom and curved at the top, so their shape was somewhat similar to a semicircle. Apparently, the air on the upper side of the wing flows along the raised curved surface and then bends to flow downwards. As for why it flows along the raised surface, I can only assume that it's because of air's nature. There's something like that.
This downward flow, in accordance with Newton's third law, causes an equally strong reaction force on the wing, which lifts it up.
The reaction lifts up the wing?
When you throw a heavy basketball at the ground, don't you feel as if your body's rising up slightly? It's the same as that.
Does that mean that when the wing drops the air behind it, the reaction causes it to rise up?
And when the lift force exceeds the weight of the airframe, the airplane can fly in the air. It's just an example, but even a jumbo jet with a total weight of several hundred tons works like this.
That may be so in theory, but I still couldn't imagine how lift could be generated to allow a several hundred-ton plane to take off. However, airplanes actually did fly in the air.
That's why the main wings that create the lift are the essential parts to make the airplane fly in the sky.
I wasn't sure if I got it or not. However, I did understand that the main wings were the most important part.
Next is the tailplane, which has two parts, a vertical stabilizer and a horizontal stabilizer. These are added to stabilize the position of the airplane in midair. Compared to us, standing on the ground like this, when an airplane flies in the air, it's much more unstable. The one going straight up is the vertical stabilizer. It stabilizes lateral movement. The ones extending out sideways, the same as the main wings, are the horizontal stabilizers. These stabilizers are the vertical movements, or in other words, raising and lowering of the nose. Without those, even a paper airplane couldn't fly straight.
I see. So that's why they have small wings on the tail.
Then there's the body. This isn't directly related to flight, but without it, there would be nowhere to attach the wings. That's all. That's the basic form of an airplane. That hasn't changed since a long time ago, since the era of the Wright brothers.
Since that long ago? But the Wright brothers were the first people in the world to fly a plane, right? So nothing's changed since the very first one was made?
The Wright brothers were the first to perform a powered flight. Gliders were used even before that.
Is that so? I always thought that the Wright brothers were the first to fly.
If you want to know the role of the wings, you should try it on this paper airplane. For example, if you were to bend the vertical stabilizer a little... There!
The paper airplane that Amane-senpai flew in a gentle curve.
Furthermore, if you bend this part of the main wings a little...
This time, the paper airplane was turning around during its flight. Hey, that's pretty interesting. Seeing this, Habane-senpai earnestly tampered with the stabilizer of her own paper airplane.
Watch this!
Brimming with confidence, Habane-senpai threw her paper airplane.
Whoa!
Oh! It did a beautiful loop-de-loop before landing. Amazing! It did a loop-de-loop.
This paper airplane's really interesting!
Habane-senpai and I both got really engrossed in playing around with adjusting the wings. Sometimes the paper airplanes performed some mid-air acrobatics, while other times they didn't fly at all and crashed into the ground. However, by trying it for ourselves, we were able to get an understanding of the role of the wings. You can make the plane fly in many different ways just by changing the shape of the wings a little.
Actual airplanes have smaller wings, called ailerons, attached to the main ones. The aircraft's controlled by adjusting them.
As she explained, Amane-senpai moved to the side of the garage. Then she lovingly laid her hand on the glider.
This glider doesn't have an engine. It is like a bigger and more sturdy paper airplane, only equipped with a cockpit.
Abane-san and I looked at the paper airplanes in our hands. I imagined getting on it and flying through the sky. It was like a childhood fantasy, however. The glider in front of me was the real thing.
What do you think now? You just felt like building one, didn't you?
But it doesn't have an engine. How does it fly? After all, paper airplanes gain thrust by being thrown by a person's hands.
It flies by riding the wind.
Abane-senpai and I gazed at the white craft. That day, we saw it flying from the windmill hill, riding the wind. That expression perfectly describes the way it flew, so smoothly and calmly.
Riding the wind?
Amane-senpai nodded happily.
Like that, by riding and sending air currents, you can fly anywhere. Anywhere? Yes, you can even go above the clouds. Above the clouds.
Abane-san looked at the aircraft with an expression of disbelief. I also couldn't imagine this thing flying above the clouds. Have you been there? Above the clouds?
Well, that's...
Suddenly, her mood dropped.
I put it together recently and only took it out on test flight. It was that time!
Yeah. We exchanged glances reflexively.
It seems that the main wings weren't strong enough and they snapped on the way.
Huh? So you mean...
Yeah, it was pretty dangerous. If they'd broken completely, I might have fallen into the lake and died.
She said that while laughing.
I have to rebuild them. It's all because I'm not so good with my hands. Also, I know that one part of the meter's broken, but I'm having trouble getting my hands on the replacement parts. Why don't you just make them yourself?
Abane-san said that easily. This school teaches various technical subjects, so it has all the equipment necessary to make various mechanical components.
And that's no good either.
Amane-senpai took out some broken parts from a drawer with a troubled expression.
The diaphragm is one of the parts used to make the airspeed indicator. It was custom made in the factory where it was made shut down a long time ago.
We looked at the parts in Amane's palm. It certainly doesn't look like something easy to make. If it's something like that, if it's something that can be made in the town shop, there might be something we could do about it. When I muttered that, Amane-senpai's eyes sparkled.
Really?
Well, I won't know until I ask, but I know someone who might help.
Please! If I don't have this, I'll be in trouble.
Okay, I'll try asking it next time I see him. Can I borrow this?
Thank you. This will be the third time you've saved me.
Glump.
Whoa!
Suddenly, she hugged me with all her strength and even rubbed our cheeks together.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank me once I actually get it.
Oh, yes, I guess you're right. But this includes the thanks for lunch. So let me express my gratitude one more time.
No, that's enough, seriously.
Really?
Amane-san was glaring at us sullenly. I wonder if this will really fly.
Yeah.
We both gazed at the glider with some real expressions.
By the way, you two, if you're interested in gliders,
The bell rung, interrupting her. Senpai flinched in surprise and quickly turned her back to us. If we're interested, then what?
No, nothing, forget about it.
Looks like she's avoiding something. Senpai?
What?
Can I come here again?
Yeah, of course. If you're interested, come anytime.
I have to bring her those parts as well.
You too. Come again. Sure.
Abadi-san nodded and Amane-senpai nodded back with a broad smile. She's really beautiful, but that smile somehow made her look like a little kid. Alright, let's go back to the classroom.
Huh?
I started walking, pushing Abane-san's wheelchair on my own accord.
Hey, where are you taking me?
To the classroom, of course.
No, stop! I'm hungry! I haven't had lunch yet.
You reap what you sow.
I said stop! Hey, don't push me!
I forcibly brought Habane-san with me, and we returned to the classroom. Aoi! I went back to the dormitory, and someone called out to me when I was at the gate. Oi! Sorry, that's how I should have made him sound. Damn! Anshan! The moment I saw him, my mood improved fivefold. Anshan was standing there. I was thinking about going to see you tomorrow. I wanted to meet you soon, so I skipped work and came here. It's been a long time, Aoi. Anshan ruffled my hair. Hey, stop that. Disregarding my token resistance, Anshan rubbed my head round and round. I think that my hair was probably messed up pretty badly now. This was Igarashi Tatsuya, also known as Anshan. He was Igeha's, Mabo's, and my childhood friend. He was like a big brother to us. He was much older than us, but we used to play together a lot as kids. Oh jeez, you're messing up my hair. Sorry, when I remembered the past I couldn't help it. You haven't changed, Anshan. You're still like in the old days. Hey now, that's not a compliment, you know. It isn't? Of course, people can't get stuck in one place. They have to keep changing. What Anshan said was true, but personally, I'd prefer him to stay the way he was now. While I was thinking that, Anshan's expression suddenly became gentle. Is your leg okay now? Yeah. Enough for everyday life. I see. It must have been tough. It's no big deal. I can live normally like this. On top of that, I had you there to watch me in the race where I tried my hardest. That was a good race. You looked pretty cool when you were on the podium. I came third, though. I was in the bicycle club at my last school. During the final race of my freshman year, I managed to get on the podium's third place step. It was my greatest achievement. Anshan traveled a long way to watch that race. Third place is still amazing. Yeah. Because of Anshan's kindness, I almost felt like I could cry. He sensed how I was feeling and started messing up my hair again. This time gently. So now you're the dorm mother of this place, huh? Yeah. Flying Fish Manor, huh? That brings back memories.
We used to play here a lot and sneak in the mansion. Ah, that's right! That wasn't what Anchan was talking about just now? By the way, is that girl a boarder here? Someone was hiding near the gate. Habani-san. It looked like she couldn't get past because Anchan and I were in the way. Even though she could have just spoken to us normally, she was hiding and watching us instead. Hello, young lady. Hello. Habani-san was still on guard, but returned the greeting. We got out of her way and she entered the dormitory in her composed mode. Lul. So that girl lives here, huh? You know her? Yeah, I see her in town from time to time. There's a big dog near our workshop, you know? Ah, Pedigree? There was a big dog that went by that name. If I remembered right, it was a St. Bernard. She was hanging around near Pedigree yesterday. Was she by any chance trying to stroke his head? Yeah, that's what it looked like. She was giving him food, but that dog only eats food from his owner. As I thought. That was on the things I want to do list. Stroke the head of the big dog in the neighborhood. It's really scary, but it might be unexpectedly friendly. If possible, I'd like to ride around on its back. So that's what she was doing while she was skipping school. Well, I decided to forget about Habani-san for now. Anyway, welcome back, Ali. It's good to be back, Anchan. I answered slightly embarrassed, and Anchan grinned at me. If you have any problems, don't hesitate to ask. I'm your big bro, right? Parting with those words, Anchan turned to leave. Oh, that's right, Anchan. I know this is a bit soon, but I have a favor to ask. I took out the parts I was entrusted with by Amani-senpai out of my bag. Along with them was a memo with dimensions and so on written down. I need parts that are the same as these. Could you get them by chance? Anchan's family was running a workshop. It was what you call a small town workshop, and it should be making custom-made special parts. Anchan also worked there right now. If Anchan could do it, he might be able to use his connections with other engineers and refer me to other factories. Anchan looked at the broken parts in the memo. The diaphragm, huh? Yeah, sure. He quickly answered. I'll contact you once I get it. Thanks, Anchan. No problem. Anchan raised one hand and turned to leave. Thanks to meeting Anchan, I returned to my room in a good mood. I put my hand on the saddle of the bicycle that was standing in the corner. I'm proud of being able to stand on the podium in front of a buddy like Anchan. That looks like an expensive bike. Before I realized, Habani-san was next to me. What are you doing here? I came in here with you, didn't you notice? I didn't. And do you want something? Without answering my question, she opened a drawer on the desk. In here? Nope. Maybe there? It looked like she was searching for something. Not here. That's strange. I was sure that she'd have it. I didn't have any embarrassing stuff, so I just calmly asked her. What are you doing? Looking for something. You can see that, can't you? I know, but shouldn't you at least get the consent of the owner of the room? What about you? Give it back now. I know you have it. Have what? It's... Apparently, she was looking for the withdrawal notice that I had picked up back then. I don't know what you're looking for, but I don't think it's in there. He sounds suspicious. He has it, there's no doubt about it. Did you say something? Not really. Apparently, her search came to an end. However, she didn't leave the room. She was surveying it carefully. This is the first time I've been in a boy's room. It's pretty tidy. I imagined, something like piles of trash everywhere. Thrash. Retranslation, huh? I'm just kidding. I don't have a lot of stuff. Thanks to that, moving was easy. Habani-san was staring straight at the bike that was clearly standing out in my room. What happened to your leg? Her sudden question flustered me. It's no big deal. Looks like she overheard my conversation with Anchan. It's just a little injury. Look, it's fine now. I swung my right leg to show her. Is the injury the reason why you changed schools?
Nah, not really. Why are you asking about it?
No reason. I just felt like it.
There's no need for you to worry about it.
Who said I was worried about you? I'm not worried, not even a little bit. See you later. That was a waste of my time.
Abani-san left my room with a composed expression. You're going there again tomorrow, right? To the garage, at lunch.
I'm not going,
is what it felt like she was going to say.
I am going.
She answered and hastily left my room. Looks like I should make 3 lunchboxes this time. Okay, well, I was right that we did get to know a little bit more about why her social life is so bad. So basically, she's just very, very standoffish, and because Ageha has so many friends, kind of, turned everybody against her in, one action. It didn't go well today, either. Today's breakfast was another failure. All of the boarders showed up for breakfast, but the only one who finished her meal was Kaneko-san. There must have been something wrong with it. All I'll have to do is make meals and clean. What a piece of cake! That's what I thought when I had accepted the job as a dorm mother, but my confidence was gradually fading. What are you brooding over, you traitor? I don't even know what kind of voice I gave this guy. Oh, it's you. Masatsugu joined me on the way to school. He flung some verbal abuses at me as he approached. Excuse me. A few things happened at the dormitory. Dealing with girls can be tough. In that case, you should talk to me. After all, I have a girlfriend now. Yeah, I heard she's a freshman at Seisen Girls' School, right? Seisen's Girls' School is famous in the neighborhood as a school for rich girls. The uniform had a reputation for being cute, to the point that various fans were coming from far and wide just to take a look. Her name's Eri-chan. Want to see a photo? He looked like he really wanted to show it, so I decided to go along with it. Whoa, seriously, she's cute. Isn't she? We're in a band together. Eri-chan's on vocals and bass, and I'm on guitar. Mabo, you can play guitar? I practiced like crazy for Eri-chan. Now I can play as fast as Ingui. I don't know how to fucking pronounce that. Da-ra-ra-ra. He showed off some great air guitar. By the way, who the hell was Ingui? Hey, weren't you riding bikes? Weren't you riding bikes when you were at your old school? Yeah, I was. What about it? You aren't anymore? Well, there's no bicycle club at our school, though. Yeah, I'm not riding anymore. Masatsugu's expression seemed like he didn't care about it too much. Didn't you get on podium at some huge race? You heard that from Anchan? Yeah, Ageha and Hotaru asked Anchan to take them with him to cheer for you at the next race. Well, I kinda wanted to go too. That made me blush a little. Hey, don't get the wrong idea. I wanted to go just to watch you lose miserably. I wasn't planning on cheering for you or anything. Yeah, I get it. Don't get so flustered. Ageha really regretted it, that she couldn't see you at your best. You did know about that, right? I didn't know anything. After all, I never thought that I would make it to the podium. Besides, even if I knew, it was too far away to just say, come and watch me. Even so, you weren't contacting us at all. You too. Besides, wasn't I sending you New Year's cards every year? You mean those pre-printed ones they sell at a convenience store? You do the same thing, and your New Year's cards usually arrive at the end of January. You should be thankful that I even sent you one. Oh, unusual duo detected. Yeah. Yo, Ageha. Hi. What's up, my beau? Masatsugu was hiding behind me. It's nothing. Don't get over familiar with me. Eri-chan will get angry. Yeah, she's your cute girlfriend, right? Jokingly, Ageha was walking while keeping a little distance from Masatsugu. Masatsugu walked up next to me and poked my side. Keeping that thing we were talking about a secret from Ageha. What thing? That she wanted to watch your race. Okay, I got it. Was that something that needed to be kept a secret?
Why are you guys getting so clingy with each other? That's not what you think. Who would get close to that guy? Ew, gross. Don't spit for real. You're getting along so well. I'm jealous. Okay, how you idiot. Yeah, don't say weird things like that.
Hey man, what's wrong with homies kissing each other? Lunchtime. Today I didn't eat my lunch early. When I was preparing my lunchbox and basking in this tiny sense of accomplishment, Habani-san had already disappeared from the classroom. I went out the corridor and saw her pacing back and forth in front of the door, as if she couldn't decide whether she should go forward or turn back. Are you waiting for me?
What?
Habani-san let out a yelp, not really befitting a beautiful girl, and tapped her chest to calm herself down.
Don't scare me like that.
Sorry, I only called out to you normally though. You're going, aren't you? To the garage?
Yes, I am. I wasn't really waiting for you though.
Well then, let's go. I started pushing her wheelchair.
Whoa, hey, don't push me without permission.
Here, hold this. I passed my bag to her.
Hey, don't treat me like baggage storage.
Personal dolly.
Looks like nobody's here.
The garage was open, but there was no one there. Somehow I got the impression that Amane-senpai was always there, so it was a little surprising. The air conditioning wasn't turned on, so it was quite humid. What should we do?
Even if you ask me...
Abane-san subconsciously put her hand on her stomach. Shall we have our lunch here? I made your share as well, Habane-san. Those were actually leftovers from breakfast. But Habane-san didn't come to eat breakfast, so she probably didn't know what was on the menu.
Is this also part of your job as dorm mother?
No, I'm just meddling. Tap, tap, tap. I put 3 lunch boxes on the workbench. And I went through the trouble of making one for Amane-senpai too. The air conditioning wasn't turned on, so if I just left it here, it would go bad very quickly. There was a refrigerator here, so I decided to put it in there. If I leave a note on the desk, she should notice it and eat the lunch. Could you turn on the electric fan? Habane-senpai turned on the switch of the nearby fan.
What about the air conditioner?
I can't find the remote controller. It's probably buried somewhere. We sat in the area that was getting the full force of the wind from the electric fan and opened our lunchboxes.
What's this? Curry?
This morning's menu was curry. You don't like it?
Do people usually put curry in their lunchboxes?
Can't you leave the complaints for after you've eaten it? With a meek expression, Habane-san put the cold curry into her mouth.
It's tasty even though it's cold.
It'd be great if we had a microwave though. We were eating our curry in silence for a little while. Today, the glider wasn't covered by the sheet. I gazed at the simple, sleek shape of its body and thought it was beautiful. I imagined that aircraft cutting through the air in flight. When you're riding a bicycle, your greatest enemy is the wind. Abane-san made a puzzled face when I started talking all of a sudden, but I carried on regardless. Headwind's the worst. You have to keep stepping on the pedals while it constantly pushes you back. When I faced the wind from the electric fan set up to strong, I remember that feeling just a little. The feeling of the wind gradually draining my stamina. That's why when we're riding bicycles, we were trying to reduce air resistance as much as possible. Not just the riding posture or the shape of the helmet. We were cooperating with the members of other teams and riding in groups during the race. When I was riding a bike, I was thinking it would be better if the wind wouldn't blow. But this thing rides the wind to fly.
Even though it doesn't have a jet engine or a propeller.
If we hadn't actually seen it in the air that day, we probably wouldn't be able to imagine it flying, even with the real thing right in front of us. Oh yeah, Habane-san, how do you know so much about gliders? She knew a lot about them, even though she saw a real glider for the first time back on the Windmill Hill.
I don't know that much. I just read about them in a book a bit.
It seemed hard for her to answer, so I refrained from asking any further. Speaking of which, there's a bookshelf there filled with many books. When I looked closely at them, they were all related to gliders or aircraft. I picked one up and looked inside. It's in English? I can't read it. It's not like my grades in English were bad, but with the level I had from classes, reading technical books would be really tough. Apparently it was the same for Habani-san.
This book has a lot of photos.
There was a book that had many photos of gliders, something like a catalog. There's so many different ones. The shape of the wings, the size, and so on. It seemed that there are many different types of gliders.
Look at this!
What's in this picture?
It's flying over a mountain.
The photograph looked so natural that I hadn't even realized that the glider was flying high enough to look down at the mountain.
They can fly that high?
We both reflexively looked at the glider standing over there. Since its wings were removed, we couldn't really grasp at its full size, but at a glance, it didn't seem at all like the one compared to the. It didn't seem all that different compared to the one in the photo. Amani-san did say that it could go above the clouds. I wonder how it would feel, flying through the sky in this.
It would feel amazing for sure. Flying on ascending air currents would be just like becoming a bird, wouldn't it?
We stayed for a little longer even after we finished our lunchboxes. We spent the time looking at books and admiring the glider. When the bell rang, I felt like the fun time was over, and I was a little sad.
What's this?
Just as we were about to go back to the classroom, Abane-san noticed a photo frame on Amani-senpai's desk. What's this? What was weird was that there was no photo inside that frame. An empty photo frame had been placed there. It's Amani-senpai we're talking about. She probably just lost the photo. What's wrong?
Huh? No, nothing. Let's go. It's hot in here. I can't stand it.
The moment we stepped out of the sauna-like garage, we felt the refreshing, cool air outside. Scrub, splash, scrub. Phew. I'm worn out. Cleaning the bathroom is easier said than done. I never thought it was going to be such a tough task. To make things even worse, there's no air conditioning, so I was dripping with sweat. On the other hand, if I don't do this every day during summertime, mold will start growing there. It wasn't just about hygiene, it was kind of gross too. There's no way you can take a bath when there's mold growing in there. My cell phone rang. The display showed home. Hello?
Hello? Hi, it's me.
What's up?
Nothing really. I was just wondering how you're doing. How is it? Is it going smoothly?
Smoothly, I can't really say that. I took this job without taking it too seriously, but it turned out to be quite a chore.
Well, yeah, it's not an easy job.
Going to school every day and doing the work of a dorm mother's wearing me out. I realized this after only a few days. It was considerably hard work.
But isn't it better right now?
Why?
You won't end up remembering unpleasant things.
You know, if that's what you think, don't say that.
That aside, do you miss your mom?
A mother like you? She's the kind of mother who loves teasing her son. But, did she get me to do this dorm mother job because she was worried about me? I was so busy that I didn't have time to think about unnecessary stuff. If I kept talking in the hallway, the other boarders could have heard me, so I went back to my room. We continued our silly parent-child conversation. My mother was a fiercely independent person and a hard-working career woman. Many things had been happening until recently. Well, they're still going on now, and we were living separately. I was a bit too old to be missing my mother, though. Hearing her voice like this from time to time was enough.
How's school?
That's going smoothly. Ageha's there too.
Ageha-chan became really beautiful, didn't she? I was surprised when I saw her for the first time in a while the other day.
Me too. She looks like a proper girl now.
She can't just take your time like this anymore. Ageha-chan will get even more beautiful from now on. She's outgoing and considerate. She'll be very popular with the boys, there's no doubt about it.
Oh, shut up. What are you even talking about?
Oh dear, you have such a sharp tongue. I wonder who you take after.
My mom, obviously. A normal mother wouldn't tell her son to go chasing after girls.
Okay then, good luck. If you have any trouble, call me. Sure. Also, if you're finding it tough to do all the housework, you can ask the boarders to help you. The rent in that place is super cheap, so they should help with things like that. I'll think about it. Well then, good night, Ao-chan. She called me in a way that I hate on purpose, and then ended the call. The name Aoi was chosen by my father. It sounded like a girl's name, so I was often teased with it when I was little, and it seems she still remembers that. I put down my phone and took a look at the boarding students' roster. When it comes to boarders' jobs, cleaning their own rooms was a given. There was also cleaning the hallway and entrance, as well as the dining hall. On the other hand, my jobs were to prepare breakfast and dinner, clean up afterwards, clean the bathroom and garden, and other miscellaneous chores. It's actually pretty tough. Maybe I'll try asking for some help. Even if I could just get them to clean the bathroom, that'd be a real lifesaver. Huh? Yuka-san? Yes! Yuka-san, a tall fourth year and the eldest boarder, was in the dining room. She got surprised when I suddenly called out to her. What is it, Minase-kun? Can I ask you a question? I spread out the roster I was just looking at on the table where Yuka was sitting. Yuka, who was used to seeing this, looked at it with curiosity. Habane-san's name isn't on the job roster. Starting with Kaneko and Yuka-san, there were 4 names, but Habane-san's wasn't there. That's... but that's because... Yuka-san glanced at the dining room door while she was speaking. Her legs are disabled. As I thought, that's the reason. Thank you very much. No problem. Alrighty, I think we're gonna go ahead and end this episode here. Alright, let's go ahead and save. Bang. And we can go right back to the top. Alrighty. So, some interesting things happened, as they always do in these episodes. But, yeah, so, obviously, it seems like, us and Kotori are gonna kind of have a connecting point with this glider. And it also seems like there has to be a story with Amane-senpai as to why she's so dedicated to these gliders. Because, I mean, it seems to me as though the reason that she's purposefully being, held herself back in school is specifically so she can work on this glider. So, obviously there's got to be some kind of story to it. And it was also just an interesting little detail how it seems like Kotori kind of had an idea as to either why the photo frame was empty, maybe that represents something, who knows, or it could mean that she maybe had an idea as to why it was empty. So clearly there's going to be a story, a deeper story with Amane-senpai, but obviously I am I'm most interested with this whole glider situation. Mainly because, I mean, I feel like how do these things take off? That's my question. How do these things take off? Because it doesn't really seem like it would be possible for them to, like, take off unless they were slingshotted or something. But who knows? I guess we'll have to figure that out. And then finally, my last big, I guess, like, question is, with these other boarders, are we ever gonna have any, like, interactions with them? Like, surely we have to because they're there, but it seems like right now it's been pretty strictly delegated to, like, to Kotori. So, I don't know, we really haven't gotten any other interactions with the other, dorm members, aside from Kaneko, because she eats the food. That's pretty much it. But that's gonna be it for this time. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave a like on the video and tell me in the comment section below what you'd like to see me play next. If you enjoyed this video or any other videos or series on my channel, then I highly recommend that you hit the subscribe button and turn on post notifications so you'll be notified when a new one of those videos comes out. Anyways, that's it from me, and I'll see you in the next one.